1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Humans have been creating art for over 30,000 years. From prehistoric cave rock paintings to objects being used to decorate the body, art and mankind have evolved together to create the modern art we view in galleries, on the streets, and even on the internet today. But what happens when humans hand their art-making control over to something that isn't quite human, but possesses human intelligence? Well, this happens. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. I'm gonna be honest, when I saw this Twitter thread for the first time, I couldn't wait to make a video about it. It's one of the more strange things I've seen, but some of these images are just downright disturbing. You've probably heard of Loab, the internet's newest urban legend, mystery, demon, you decide for yourself. She was first discovered by a musician who goes by the name of Supercomposite on Twitter. They produced Loab through inputting prompts into AI. Then the AI produces art from those prompts. Before we take a deep dive into the latent space that Loab seems to haunt, let's talk about AI art to get a better understanding of how this internet demon was actually created. So,
artificial intelligence.
Something we as humans are still figuring out, yet it's advancing at quite a scary pace. For most people, the comfort in having AI has been that the abilities of the AI are limited to the creator. However, the gap between the human mind and what's possible through AI is diminishing. Artificial intelligence and the algorithms on which it's based to learn from its mistakes has given it the ability to imitate the human brain. In the same way that a human's brain can perform tasks on a subconscious level, artificial intelligence, through the power of deep learning, is able to create a neural network that gives it the familiar ability to begin to understand, use logic, and think just like us. So, it all started in April of 2022, when Supercomposite was messing around with the AI that produces images or art through text-based prompts. So what this means is, if I input the prompt face, then the AI will produce an image of what it thinks is a face. However, during the time of discovering Loab, OP was experimenting with something called negative prompts, which causes the AI to produce what it thinks is the absolute furthest thing from the prompt you inputted, or basically just the opposite of. But what, say, is the opposite of a face? Or what is the furthest thing from a crying baby surrounded by wasps in the middle of a desert? Well, it depends on who you ask, and similarly, it kind of depends on the artificial intelligence. In an article where Supercomposite was interviewed, they stated that this method of negative prompting was very unpredictable because no one knows how the data is organized and what the AI classifies as the opposite of, and what exactly fills the latent space, which is the mind of the AI. So let's see what Supercomposite found with their negative prompts. I discovered this woman, who I call Loab, in April. The AI reproduced her more easily than most celebrities. Her presence is persistent, and she haunts every image she touches. Take a seat. This is a true horror story, and veers sharply macabre. I'll explain negative prompt weights, in case you don't know. With these, instead of creating an image of the text prompt, the AI tries to make the image look as different from the prompt as possible. This logo was the result of a negatively weighted prompt, Brando, -1. So this is essentially what the AI thinks is the furthest thing away from the word Brando. I wondered, is the opposite of that logo, in turn, going to be a picture of Marlon Brando? I typed Digita Puntix Skyline logo as the prompt. I received these off-putting images, All of the same devastated-looking older woman with defined triangles of rosacea on her cheeks. So, it seems the opposite of Brando is this weird Digitapantix logo, but the opposite of this Digitapantix logo is not Brando, it's this, Loab. My friend made this image of a hyper-compressed glass tunnel surrounded by angels in the style of Wes Anderson. I innocently combined this image with the original image of Loab in an image prompt, without text. For reasons we can't fully explain, nightmares ensued. Through some kind of emergent statistical accident, something about this woman is adjacent to extremely gory and macabre imagery in the distribution of the AI's world knowledge. Loab always seemed to be connected to disturbing imagery. They were never joyful or happy images. All of them seemed pretty disturbing to the human eye. Since Loab was discovered using negative prompt weights, her gestalt is made from a collection of traits that are equally far away from something, but her combined traits are still a cohesive concept for the AI, and almost all descendant images contain a recognizable Loab. She just kept showing up. Some of these images were so gruesome and gory that OP themselves didn't even post them, and I am unable to show all of the images that Supercomposite shared in this thread, in fear of this video being flagged and removed off of YouTube. The Angel Hallway plus Loab also produced art with such copious gore that probably very few people want to see them, but here are two. I don't feel comfortable posting the most disturbing ones. Borderline snuff images of dismembered, screaming children. There is something moving to me about these grotesque scenes and the desperation, panic, and sadness that they convey. Again, these are produced with other images as inputs, and no text. They are the result of crossbreeding images of Loab with images of other things. Even though this image doesn't show the normal face of Loab like we've seen in earlier images that Supercomposite reproduced, she's still recognizable in these images. The shape of her face is so familiar. The images that result from crossing Loab with other images can in turn be crossbred with other images. The AI can latch onto the idea of Loab so well that she can persist through generations of this type of crossbreeding, without using the original image. Here is Loab as a bee, and Loab celebrating Pride Month. Loab can be recognizably transposed into many genres and contexts. Even when her red cheeks or other important features disappear, the Loabness of the images she has a hand in making is undeniable. She haunts the images, persists through generations, and overpowers other bits of the prompt, because the AI so easily optimizes toward her face. Combining Loab with text prompts works great too. Her signature rosacea cheeks even turned blue when I prompt for a Na'vi version of her from Avatar 2, The Way of the Water. I started going kind of insane at this point. I had hundreds of Loab images and was starting to combine her with 3 or 4 other images at once. Most of the horror images I post, even outside of this thread, are descendants of the Loab lineage. Sometimes it takes more abstract forms. The concept of Loabness became more abstract to me. I would include her in prompts that I knew would almost distort her beyond recognition. After she disappeared from the image breeding lineage, she would sometimes reappear later down the line, out of nowhere. I was ripping Loab apart and putting her back together. She is an emergent island in the latent space that we don't know how to locate with text queries. But for the AI, Loab was an equally strong point of convergence as a verbal concept, and really, it was usually stronger. The big lesson for me here with Loab is that image prompting can essentially be used as your custom vector to query the latent space. You can produce novel styles and characters that you literally discover. Negative prompt weighting can help you find emergent accidents too. By the way, Loab seems to be recognized extremely consistently with Buntworthy's days-old implementation of image prompts for stable diffusion. She's everywhere, hiding. Good luck sleeping tonight. I'm going to continually update this thread with Loab-influenced content, since I have at least 1,000 images with her fingerprints on them. Check back for your daily Loab sighting. She finds everyone sooner or later. You just have to know where to look. Loab, the first cryptid of the latent space. Perfect. Here are some images of Loab that Supercomposite has added to the thread. She's shown up everywhere and as everything. So let's unpack this. What exactly is Loab, or Loabness? Is the latent space of the AI genuinely haunted by a cryptid, or is this just some coincidental situation where the AI chooses to present Loab in various circumstances? What's it going to be? Spirits haunting data structures? Or the minds of the AI being a lot more disturbing than humans were originally led to believe? A disturbing aspect of this, now viral internet meme, is not the images itself, but the fact that the AI produced such consistent results that just kept on portraying recognizable images of Loab. Think about it. If you just search ghost in dark hallway on Google, the search results will almost always be around the 500,000s. Keep in mind, these are all different results, and some of them may not even be what the original search asked for. Similarly, when inputting the same prompts into AI, what are the chances of a consistent image showing up every single time? Supercomposite guessed it was because she is very far away from a lot of concepts, and so it's hard to get out of a little spooky area in latent space. The cultural question of why the data put this woman way out there at the edge of the latent space, near gory horror imagery, is another thing to think about. Why is Loab so connected to disturbing, gory, and just pure nightmare fuel imagery? Well, the most terrifying answer to this question is, we'll never truly know. We as humans know so little about the latent space of AI, how they are structured, and why they are structured the way that they are. Naturally, they were created to be similar to the way the human mind organizes data, but in other ways, they have totally unique structures, not entirely familiar to us. Loab is an anomaly for sure, and this leads me to my final question. How many more of these anomalies are waiting to be summoned in the latent spaces of AI? And what exactly resides in the darker corners of these latent spaces? I'll leave you with this quote from an article I found about what the greatest minds of our generation think about artificial intelligence. Elon Musk has compared the proliferation of AI to summoning the demon. He believes it is the biggest threat to humanity. To prevent the AI apocalypse, he has proposed that governments start regulating the development of AI before for-profit companies do something very foolish. Is Loab the first demon that's being summoned? Or is this AI just a little faulty? You decide for yourself.